Okay. Welcome, everyone. This is our first Forward Faith podcast episode. We're very
So
excited.
excited.
Anyway, we're really blessed to be here and to be able to talk to whoever's listening. My bad.
To all of you.
Yes.
To all of
Thank you.
all of who you are. Wait.
All of Anyway, okay.
That's a great song.
That is a great song.
Wow.
It's a really good song.
Anyways.
Anyway, so so we're gonna introduce ourselves let's just talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Julianne. Julianne Hart. I don't think you had to know that part. I'm Julianne. I'm 18. I am the what do I do? Oh, I'm the youth worship director at Real Life Foursquare, which is where we are and where we go to church. I love to sing, which you would think so because that's my job.
Classic.
So I do like to sing. What else do I do? Oh, I've been teaching myself how to play guitar and piano. Well, I don't really play piano that well, but I like do chords when I sing. Me, 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 me. I know all of them because I'm just like better than everyone else. So
Okay, there's a lot of chords.
I know I'm like really talented. Anyways, and I am teaching myself to play guitar. I'm not very good, but I don't like what are they called? The strings that I have. So anyways, none of you needed to know that, but here we are. What else do I do? I like shopping. I have no money, but I like to shop and buy myself coffee. And I like ducks.
Oh yeah,
I love you guys. You don't understand.
Fair?
You don't understand. I love ducks.
At the fair, we saw
I
the
have
ducks.
like some issues with ducks. I love them so much. What else do I like to do? I like to play tennis and pickleball.
Classics.
And that's I read.
Well, see, I was gonna
forget about that. That's like the only thing I do ever. I read a lot. All the time. I have so many books. And I buy a lot of books. And so if you ever want to talk about books, we should do that. I love books.
Or if you're ever gonna
If you want book recommendations.
Yeah. That's
I
what
got
was
a lot of
trying to
those.
say.
So I love
That's what I was
anyways. I
trying to
love
say.
reading.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all.
My name is Felipe Leiva. I just did the same. Anyway, my name is Felipe. I am 26. I am the youth director here at Real Life Foursquare Church. And what? And I recently got a motorcycle, which is really fun. Just waiting on to get my license. 'Cause we got to be safe.
Right.
And yeah.
And legal.
And legal. Safe and legal. Don't forget that.
Should be our motto. Be safe and legal. I'm sorry.
That's
Anyways.
funny. Anyway, I do that. I enjoy bowling, which I somewhat consistently go with David Chris. Shout out to David Chris.
Love you, David Chris.
We also do pickleball a lot.
Pickleball!
And with Hannah as well. We do pickleball with Hannah.
Oh my God, we eat a lot of chicken.
Do Dave's Hot Chicken.
Dave's Hot Chicken.
And Raising Cane. Well, you guys didn't like Raising Cane.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Raising Canes. We
Okay,
have
well.
it's an issue, but we compromise with Dave's Hot Chicken.
Yeah, Dave's Hot Chicken.
We eat a lot
pretty
of
good.
chicken.
And it's like right by where we live. So it's
And
like,
boba.
oh yeah,
We drink a lot of boba.
The
The capybara. Guys.
Capybara boba.
It's amazing.
Anyway, yeah, capybara boba. I forgot the actual name of it, but there's a capybara boba around
Softy.
here. Softy.
It's in
Thank you.
downtown Vancouver.
Yeah, go check it out.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. It would be. That would be.
That would be
That would be so
cool.
cool. All right, after this, we'll go.
We're gonna
ask
go
them.
get
We're gonna go get a sponsorship.
go get sponsored.
But yeah, I also just like driving around. Just driving around listening to music.
What kind of music do you like to listen to, Felipe?
It depends. It really depends what I'm going through.
That's so relatable.
Because sometimes if I'm like going through something rough, and if it's something rough, I'll go at night.
I
And
love
then-
night drives
I
with
know.
like depressing music.
Oh, I was gonna say worship music.
No, that's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
That's
Okay. So yeah, if it's something rough, I usually like to listen to worship music and then just drive at night. It just depends really what kind of mood I am and what's going on. But that's also one of my favorite things. And then I also I work as well. I'm an adult that works, has a regular job.
Did you say how old you were?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty sure I did. Right? I'm pretty sure I did.
He's 26.
Yeah.
Sorry.
At 26, I have a job. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. I grew up Christian. My parents became Christian when I was 3 months old. So I was still a baby. I had no idea what, obviously. Because I wasn't one of those baby carriers that I can't read. No, that's not what it's called.
It's a baby carrier.
No, that's not what it's called.
Is it a baby carrier?
Bassinet? That is wrong. There's no way.
No, I feel like that's right.
No.
Yeah.
A bassinet.
I feel like that's right.
That sounds so weird. Anyway.
If any of you know, you could tell us at youth group.
Yeah, please comment down below what it is.
Oh, right. I forgot that this is like a thing.
Yeah.
Comment.
Or you
tell
can
us what it's called.
Too.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what it's called because it's baby carrier sounds a lot better than a bassinet, but I think
it is a baby carrier.
Well, then again, for those who don't know, English is not my first language, so I can make up my own words. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I grew up Christian, and I didn't really take God serious at all. Because since I grew up in the church, a lot of the faith was my parents' faith. We would be at church like most of the week at church, and it was great. I enjoyed being there as a kid, obviously, because I would just play with toys and not do anything. But I mean, the older I got, I think the more I started to realize that it was not my faith, it was my parents' faith. And so I was actually on my 15th birthday that I got baptized, and that's when I made the decision that's when I really think I became a Christian, and actually started taking God seriously and reading my Bible and praying. And yeah, so it's been like roughly around 11 years now. And I mean, honestly, there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life, but I am extremely grateful that God was there for me, because there was some weird things. But it's part of life. That's kind of how it goes, right?
Yeah, I have a very similar not pretty much, yeah. I also grew up in the church. My grandpa was a pastor, and my dad grew up Christian, and so we kind of it's always been there for me.
Mm-hmm.
We went to my grandpa's church for a really long time, so it was just like always a part of my family. We did like family devotions every night, and we would like always pray together.
That's so
cool. But like the same thing, like it was always just like, it was always like my parents' faith, and I never really like same with you, I never really took like Christianity or God that seriously. I mean, I always like knew he was there, and like I was like, oh, like, but it was never, it wasn't really a big deal to me. And in middle school, I really cared about like what people thought of me, and nobody I knew was like a Christian or really serious about Christianity. And so I was kind of like, oh, well, it's not cool to be a Christian, so I just like didn't want to identify as that, because I really cared what people thought of me. But then I got like really sad, and I was just like not happy a lot. So God kind of showed up for me in a really hard time, and I was 14 when I became a Christian, because I believe that Christianity is a relationship with Jesus, and I didn't have one up until I was 14. So that's when I really became a Christian. And yeah, God has always been there for me ever since then, and he's really really shown up for me and supported me. I just graduated high school.
High school.
I hated high school, by the way. It was not I hated it. Well, I like the school part, but I don't like human beings that much.
That is a fair point.
So I didn't like high school. But yeah, I am here. Obviously, I'm not going to college. I applied and I got in, but that was not God's plan for me, obviously, because I am not at college. I am here. But God really, I was really scared because, you know, when you like grow up and they're like, oh, well, you go to school and then you go to college, and then you get a big girl job and then you get married and you have kids, and that's how life works.
Yeah.
That's not how my life is going. And I was really scared for a really long time, but God really showed up for me. He provided me the opportunity to be the youth worship director in a really cool way. So that's been really fun. And I'm still looking for a job so I can like have money. But but he's opened some doors recently, which is going to be really exciting. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of lonely because all of my friends are in college, but I have faith that God is gonna help me there.
Oh,
so, yeah. Life's good.
Yeah, I think, I mean, especially after high school, I went to college for a year, which was like where it was actually the college where my sister went to. And I mean, I didn't really take it seriously, if I'm honest. So I was only there for a year, but when I came back from that year, it was very lonely because it's like, you know, everyone's gone.
Yeah.
Or everyone just goes to school and then they're like doing other things and you're just like, hey. Yeah. But I'm in a obviously because I'm older, I'm in a different place, but I can relate to you on that. But like I said earlier, I'm the youth director here at the church, but I also have a regular job where I work in sales, and actually see one of the youth's parents a lot of the times. Shout out to Mike Thomas for going to where I work at, and that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm 26 now, and honestly, I didn't think I would be in the place where I'm at now, if I'm honest, and it's funny because it all happened not too long ago, really, where I became the youth director. And so there's not a lot of changes right now, but it was a big shift for me because me growing up, as I've shared before, me growing up, you know, it was because I grew up in an immigrant family. My parents were very heavy on, like, you know, you're gonna graduate high school, get an education, get a high paying job, and then you're set. Like, make as much money as you can because that's the most stable thing that you can have. Yeah. And so that's what I grew up believing a lot. And I went a different route than the usual one, but I was in a good place where I was making decent enough, you know, money, and I had an opportunity to make a lot more money somewhere else, but it was going to take me away from the youth, and it was really tough. But long story short, God really shook my core. Really, I don't know how else to explain it, because he was like, I want you to do this, and it was a very big leap of faith. But honestly, it's the best decision I've made in my recent time, because I'm here. I feel like our youth group is in a place where we're gonna grow, and our faith is gonna get strong. And, like, you know, I feel like God has me here for a reason, and it is really exciting.
It is really exciting. He's doing really cool things.
I know, and actually, the podcast is part of one of those things that I think he's gonna do. Recently in our youth group, we just shifted to really focusing on building a foundation of who God is, how to be a Christian. I mean, and I think that a lot of us, when we don't have anybody to really tell us how to be a Christian, it's kind of hard to be a Christian.
Especially when, like, nobody, like a relationship with God looks different for everybody. And so when you don't know when you're just starting out in your relationship with God and you're like, man, like all these people are doing it this way, but that doesn't work for me. And now I feel like I'm not a good Christian or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's really,
Yeah.
and that's always been challenging for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely struggled with that. And I think, which I think, I mean, I'm really excited for what God is going to do in this next season, where I think God speaking through us as leaders is really going to shape how the youth look at God, look at Christianity, especially right now in the time that we're at. It's very difficult, and Christianity is in a different light, and kind of going back to the purpose of this podcast is not only to showcase who God is and what he can do in our lives and what he has done in our lives, but I think it's also about being realistic as well and being practical about it. Because that I've seen and growing up, all I saw was like, a set of rules, and this is what you had to do to be a good Christian, and people had the perfect life and everything like that. And it wasn't until obviously I got older where I was like, and kind of to like what you said, everybody's relationship is different, and everybody goes through different things at different times in their lives, and it's just amazing when you focus on what God does rather than like looking at like the negative things that life brought into your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the purpose of this podcast, and also kind of like to be real as humans.
Yeah.
Because that's not common anymore.
No, I remember like being a youth student in like middle school and early high school, and like looking at my youth leaders and the older Christians around me and being like, man, like they just have it all together and they just know everything. And that's not the case. Felipe and I don't have it all together. Life sucks sometimes and we don't know everything. And I think that's kind of one of the big things we want you guys to take out of the podcast is like, we're imperfect people still trying to figure out life and figure out our relationship with God, and show you that like what it really looks like to be a Christian, and like realistically, like we don't know everything and we're still figuring stuff out, and to just like talk about stuff and be real with you guys.
Yeah. And I mean, kind of tagging on to that, like we're human at the end of the day. We're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep tripping and falling. But having God there is just like the best thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to explain, you know? It's just like a different feeling, because it's like God's grace it's something that I can't even understand, but it's there.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to really explain
like,
it, you know?
Like, you still, like, we are promised in the Bible. I don't know. I didn't even know this when I was, like, a kid. But, like, the Bible talks so much about how Christianity is not going to be easy and how life is not easy. But what's good about it is that we have God to help us through. So when life gets hard, we can be like, I can't carry this anymore. And you can just give it to God, and he will take care of it. Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been learning recently, to just like trust God and everything.
I know,
but it's so relieving.
It is.
You can just be like, this is hard.
Be like, here you go.
Yeah, and then he takes it, and then that's it, you know?
Yeah. Well, before we move on to the next thing, we have a little intermission surprise thing. So, give me a second. Right behind me, I have a special edition.
Ooh.
One of two, and two of two. First edition youth podcast.
Forward Faith
Podcast mugs.
Whoa!
They are very nice. They have our logos. You can see the back logo, and I don't know if you can see that, but anyway,
it's on these mugs too.
Oh yeah, it is on those.
It's like right there.
But anyway, so this is the part where if you want one of these, one of two and
we
two
only
of
have
two,
two.
we only have two. You have to come up to me on church or youth and say the keywords. All right. Are you ready for the keywords?
Sorry, just like a drum roll.
Peter Pan. Okay, so you have to come up to me, tell me Peter Pan. First two people who come up and tell me that will get these 2 mugs.
Whoa.
That are very cool. Special edition, first edition. I don't even know what to call it. But anyway,
yeah, first edition.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Mugs.
You have to tell us in person.
Yes.
Felipe, not me. Unless you want me in there.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, just Felipe.
Yeah, Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
Okay, intermission.
Anyways, intermission over.
Click. Boom. Moving on to the next thing. So I want to get into this now.
Okay.
So, what is your relationship with God like? Because we were talking about this earlier, where like everybody has a different relationship, and so like, how does it look like for you?
Man, I don't know. Okay, it's always okay. God is my best friend, like genuinely, like my best friend, and I just love him. You know, I don't know how else. Like, he's just. I've gone through a lot in my Christian years, which has been 6 years.
4. You're not 20.
Guys, I'm not very good at math. It's been 4 years. And in those 4 years, I've gone through a lot. And so my relationship with God has been hard just because of life. But he's always shown up for me. And he's always like pretty much just like shown up for me and been there. And he's so gentle with me. That's something that has always been kind of hard for me to figure out, because I always like grew up knowing that like God is higher and he's unreachable in a way, and he's holy, which means he's above. And it's like you have to do the right things, and he'll be mad at you if you don't, you know?
Yeah.
But he's just so gentle and he's so patient. And when like life gets hard, he just kind of like sits there and he cries with me, and he loves me so much. And like, it's simple, you know, like I spend time with him and I talk to him, whether that's like spending time with him is either like reading my Bible or just like worshiping, or like I'll go on a walk and I'll like pray to him or just like talk to him throughout my day. But he like, it's just, that's all it is. Like, it's just simple. And he's just my favorite being. He's my favorite. He's just my favorite.
He's just
you know?
your favorite. Yeah, there you go. You can
I just love talking to him and being with him. And I am a horrible overthinker. And so I'm always like, oh, maybe he's like mad at me, or he doesn't want to talk, like he doesn't want me to talk to him, or like maybe like I've messed up too many times this time. But he just always reminds me that like, no, like I love you the same as I always did, and I, you know, like I'm here for you. And I don't know, I've been learning recently what it really means to trust in God, because you know, I thought I had my whole life figured out. I was like, I'm gonna go to college, and that was really confusing, because I prayed about it and I was like, God, what? Because I got into 5 colleges.
Okay.
And
I got into 1.
Well, I applied to 5 and I got into 5, so you know.
Okay,
Anyways,
well.
So I loved all of them, and they were all like, oh, we want you, and I was like, yeah, you should. Anyways, but I was like praying, I was like, God, where do you want me to go? And he made it very clear that I should accept this specific college. And I did. And I toured the place, and I'd picked out all my roommates, and I'd picked out my dorm, and we had paid for everything. And then that was really hard, because I was like, man, you said you wanted me to go here, but I'm obviously not. And it didn't work out. And that's been really hard for me to figure out, because now I literally have no idea what I'm doing with my life. And I've applied to places to work, and it just hasn't worked out. And that's been really confusing, but I'm really learning like what like trusting in God really means, because a lot of people are like, oh, I trust God, and then they like apply to wherever they want to go, and then they do whatever they want to do, not in like a bad way, but they just kind of like do what they want.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm really like, God, whatever you want is gonna happen, and so I'm kind of just like waiting, and that's really hard, because I'm not if anyone knows me, I hate waiting. I'm so incredibly impatient, and God's really testing my patience, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I just have to sit here and wait, and it's been really good, and I don't know, it's been new, and it's a new level in my relationship with God, but I've been learning a lot about him and about like his plan and how everything I've always known that like he has everything worked out, and like he has like, you know, everything
planned out.
Yeah. But now it's like I have to, if I say that I know that that's true, I have to prove that I know that that's true. And now it's yeah, so it's been hard to be like, man, like I have to just keep going.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
It sounds like that waiting period is the worst.
Yeah.
Even because I'm a very patient person. Even being a very patient person, that period of waiting for God is I know. Yeah. I think mine's a little bit different. Because it was kind of, now that I'm thinking more about it, it's kind of been in a similar thing. Because like my first few years, like there was a lot of things that happened in my life where it was hard. And you know, not gonna lie, the first hard thing that happened when I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be a Christian, was that my grandma passed away. And I'm not gonna lie, I stopped. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to be involved with God, because I was like, God, like you took away my grandma. You know, I was very upset. I was very upset at God. But he still loved me, despite me saying whatever I said and rejecting him and not being part of the church. Like he still loved me. And I think for me, that was like a big part of like, whoa, like that's crazy. Like, you know what, I just screamed at you and you're still telling me you loved me. Like, you know, it was crazy for me. But after that, it was, I mean, honestly, like where I'm at right now is trusting that he is doing the right thing. And I know he is. It's just, as a human, I've kind of how I talked about it earlier, I've kind of shifted my focus and shift my head into, I used to be like, you know, more focused on like getting a better job and getting
working your way up.
Yeah, I'm working my way up and getting more money and all that stuff that comes with that. But now it's like, this is better. Like trusting God and following what he wants for me is a lot better than what I want for myself. You know, because I do believe that God knows us more. I mean, he says it in the Bible. God knows us more than anybody. He knows our weaknesses, our strengths.
Better than we do too.
Exactly. That's crazy. The scary. That's the crazy part. That I know for a fact he saved me from doing things or going a certain route that maybe I think is a good route. He saved me from that because he knows where it's going to end up.
Well, it's so hard too, because like when the world says this is how it should be, like in your case, it's like, you have to, like, if you have the opportunity to make more money, that's where you should go.
Yeah.
And in my case, it's like, you need to go to college, you know? But when it doesn't go that way and the world is so loud and God is so quiet. And so when the world is like, this is how it should be, and then you're like, but God doesn't want me there, then you're like, is this right? Like, I know his way's better. Yeah. But everyone's telling me it's not. And then it's so confusing.
Yeah, it is. It is very confusing. Yeah.
And that's where the trust comes in.
Exactly. But yeah, so I think, like I said, right now I'm just in a place of this is something new for me. I like it was weird because when I made the decision to like not pursue that position anymore, it was as I've also shared it, I literally had a panic attack because I was like, my career's over. I'm not gonna be able to do anything ever again. I'm not gonna make money ever again. Like, it was just my mind was just freaking out. But God kind of just put a peace over that, and I was like, you know what, this is the better way. And honestly, like I said earlier, again, like I really don't regret that decision, and I feel like that's caused a shift in my head of like being more sensitive to what God wants me to do. And I feel like, especially in the position where I'm at now, I need to be that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's part of my responsibility. And yeah, honestly, it's kind of cool though, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of cool, but it's scary.
I know, because like, you know that God's like when things get quiet.
Oh yeah.
You know that something's happening, and then it's like you're like, oh, something cool's gonna happen, but then you're like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me. Have you seen the movie Ratatouille?
Yes, I love Ratatouille.
Shout out to Eileen if you listen to this podcast, because we always quote this scene from Ratatouille where Remy is making the soup, and he's throwing a bunch of stuff and the cheeses and then at the end at the sequence he goes like, phew, and then the lights turn on and the chef is just staring at Remy. He's like, who? I don't know why that came up. That reminded me of that. Don't ask me. Anyway, so I think talking about like our relationship with God and where we're at now, what's one of the things that I know there may be a few, but what's one of, like, in your 4 years, like what's one of the hardest things that you had to go through? And we know that God showed up because he always shows up.
There are a couple of things that I could talk about. I don't know which one to pick.
Pick whichever one you want.
I'll go with the most recent thing.
Okay.
Because we'll do testimonies eventually, and
we will.
I'll share everything. But the most recent thing that God has done for me, about a year ago, I got really, really sick. And because I have really bad anxiety, and there was a week where I just had like a panic attack straight. Like I was like in my bed shaking like for like a week, and I didn't go to school, and it was really bad. And then after that, I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't have, because I would just like, my stomach would hurt so bad and I would just get so sick. I couldn't have gluten. I couldn't have dairy. I couldn't have, fun fact, I can't burp. So I can't have anything carbonated. So I couldn't have anything carbonated or like anything too heavy. So I like really just like couldn't eat food. I couldn't have anything processed or, I really couldn't eat food. And it happened. It was going on for like June, July, August, 8 months. There are 8 months where I was really, really, it's been over a year, I guess now. Anyways, I was really sick. And we go to the doctor about every month or maybe twice a month to get like tested and to talk about it. And they just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I got my blood taken. I got like x-rays and like nobody knew what was wrong. But it was in so much pain. I couldn't sleep at night and I was just like crying all the time because I was in so much pain. And my mom would have to come sleep with me sometimes. Like it was like ruining, like I couldn't hang out with my friends anymore because I was just like in so much pain. And then it would make my anxiety really bad because I also have like this horrible fear of like throwing up. So I was like, my stomach hurts and I have a chronic fear of like getting sick. So it was just like, it was so bad. And nobody knew what was wrong with me, which is so stressful. And we tried to figure it out in my therapy. Like it was like tied into like some trauma or anxiety or something. And it was not. And we tried to like up my anxiety medicine and nothing was working. And I just felt so lost and I was so upset. But I went to, and people would pray over me and stuff. But I was always like, well, we'll see what happens. Like, I was like, people are praying over, but like it would never work. So I was like, man, like I guess I'm just gonna be sick for the rest of my life. But I went to a church service with my cousin Zachary. Shout out to Zach, and my grandma Patty. Shout out to Grandma Patty.
Grandma Patty.
Grandma Patty. I went to a service with them at my cousin's church, and they were having this this whole sermon was about trusting in God with healing, and I was like, interesting. And the pastor said, he was like, you can't. God won't heal you if you don't believe He will. Like that's just not. He's not going to be like. You're not going to be like, oh God, like will you heal me? And then just like not think He will, because why? Like He's not going to. Like that's not how it works.
That reminds me, because anywhere in the Bible where it has healing, you can.
There's always so much.
There's people that already believe that He's going to do it. It's not like
the paralytic man. The paralytic man, he was healed because of his friend's faith, and the lady who would like touch Jesus's garment, she was healed because she had faith. And so I just didn't think God was going to heal me until the pastor really was like, he's not going to heal you if you don't have faith. And I was like, oh, shoot. And then we had this like thing where, and then there was like this like healing thing where like if you needed to get healed, like ask someone to pray for you. And I was going to ask my cousin Zach, but he was having a moment. So I was like, man, like, okay. And so I prayed, I was like, God, like, whatever you wanted Zach to pray over me, like I just pray that it would be done. And then I just kept telling myself over and over again, I was like, God healed you, God healed you, God healed you. And I just kept saying that. And then I felt like this weight lifted off. Like I don't even know, like I just felt, you know, like when like you feel the Spirit and it's like goosebumps and like you feel hot and it's just like overwhelming sense of joy. That's what I felt. I was like, okay. So I just kept saying it over and over again. And then I got in the car with my grandma and I was like, Grandma, God healed me. And she was like, all right. And I was like, so we're going to go get a burger and a soda. And I also got a coffee with milk, like whole milk. And I didn't have any pain. And then I got home and I ate a cookie and then I ate some pasta and I had no more pain.
It was like a great day.
It was a great day. And then I called Zach and I was like, man, God healed me. And he was like, I was praying over you like I felt like I needed to pray over you, so I did, and I just kept praying. That's what I was doing, and I was like, oh, so And since then it's been over a year, and I haven't had any pain since. So. Amen. Yeah, I can eat food now, which is kind of nice. I really love food, so. Dave's Hot Chicken. So that's the most recent thing that God has kind of done for me. So that's been pretty cool. Amazing. So moral of the story, trust God. Yeah. And have faith.
Kind of have.
Yeah, you kind of have to. You should. Yeah. What's the hardest thing that you've...
I think I'm going to talk about my grandma. Yeah, because that was, like I mentioned earlier, it was not too long after I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing my thing with God. This is my relationship. And yeah, it was tough because I still think about that day sometimes because it was traumatic because when we lived at some apartments and then our neighbor who used to go to our church as well, she picked us up from school and me and my sister were like, oh, whatever, it's whatever, it's just they're just picking it up because my mom was busy. Nothing out of the ordinary. But then we had an elevator. We lived in the second floor. As soon as we get out of the elevator, there's this lady there, just like some lady with a suit on. And she had like some sort of placard thing. And she said, a grief person or what? I don't know what it said. It was like grief counselor or something like that. And so that's when I knew. I was like, what is that? Right. And then when we get off the elevator, we turn to our left. And that's when we see our apartment right there. And I saw paramedics there. And I was like, oh. I hope everyone's okay. I thought something, I didn't really, that's when I was starting to hit me. But then actually going inside of the apartment and like seeing my grandma laid on the thing, whatever they call it, that's when it really hit me. And I was like, it was rough. I know because I obviously the relationship you have with your grandparents is just different and special, you know, and growing up we would spend a lot of time with her, and especially because both my parents would be working, or and so we would be with our grandma a lot, and so that was very rough, and I like, yeah, I did not want to be a part of God at that point. And I went through a certain period where I was just like, it's not that I did anything bad or anything like that. It was just, I was just not a part of it, you know? And I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to get closer to God. I didn't want to play worship music. I didn't want to do anything that had to do with God. And despite me just staying away from him, like, he was just waiting for me, you know? It's so crazy to me. He was just waiting for me, for me to just come back to him. And I think we forget that a lot, where when we go through something and we like do our things as humans, because we're humans. Yeah. At the end of the day, we're not perfect. That God is just kind of there, just waiting for us.
Yeah, he doesn't get mad at you.
I know.
He's just like,
oh, it's like, all right,
okay.
Well,
she'll be back. Here. I know.
Yeah. And so, that was definitely one of the hardest things that I had to go through, and I think that helped in the sense of like it made me closer to my family, which is, you know, amazing. But it's still something that I think about to this day, where, but anyway, I think that's definitely one of the hardest things that I had to go through.
Well, to lighten things up.
My bad, everyone.
No, it's good. To end.
Oh, what?
The episode.
We'll be back. We'll be back. Well, not right now, but I mean, like.
Yeah, there'll be another one. To end this episode, we have a fun little question that we're gonna answer.
Yeah.
Felipe.
Yes.
Because I have to think about mine still. So you get to go first.
Okay.
If you could create a superpower to have, like it was your superpower, what would it be and why?
Okay. So this is inspired by a youth, because I asked this question during youth group a couple weeks ago. This is inspired by a youth. I would want to, like, my superpower would be having something like food cooked in an instant, like the entire process.
Like just to have Dave's hot chicken.
Yeah, that, or like let's say, I'm really craving
like a steak dinner.
A steak dinner.
Lobster.
And I could just be like, boom, and then it just appears. But it doesn't taste like.
And then you wouldn't have
to
cook anything ever again.
Exactly.
And then if you're hungry, you just be like.
Yep, exactly. That's my point. And just be like, oh, like I really want.
That's amazing.
Or you could also be like, I really want some gelato or something from Italy or something. Psh, you just make it appear, and it's just that I think that would be so
really
sick.
Nice.
But that would be, I think that's a superhero I would choose. Superhero, superpower.
That's his superhero, actually. Food's my superhero.
It's my superhero. What about you, Julian?
Well, Hannah, our good friend Hannah.
Oh, Hannah.
She took mine.
Oh.
Well, it was actually, she came up with it, but I want to say hers, but I won't. Hers was, you could just like snap your fingers and have any hairstyle you wanted. So like any color or any cut or any like, so like girls know, or guys with long hair.
I've never had long hair.
That's great. Anyways, no offense to people with long hair. Anyways, so when it's hot outside, having long hair is actually the worst thing possible. So you could just be like, I want to have my head shaved today. And you could just like have, or like a pixie cut or something. And you could just like have, or if you were like, man, like I really want to know what I'd look like as a blonde. You could just like snap your fingers and it'd be blonde. If it sucked, you could just like snap them back and it would be brown, you know? Like that would be so cool. But that's not mine because I can't steal Hannah's. So mine I mean, it could be mine, but I don't want to steal Hannah's.
That's true.
Because I didn't come up with it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think mine would be. This is so lame.
It's not.
But I just want to own every book ever. So
have an unlimited. Yeah, you could do like unlimited library.
I just want to have and because books are so expensive, so I just want to just like have all of the books. I don't know how. I could just like maybe snap my fingers and
or you
have
could
a book.
just have a cabinet. And you just whatever you pull out.
That's genius. So I could just be like, I want to read this book today, and it would just like appear. Yep. That's what I want. That's what I want.
That's a pretty. Good.
So, guys, I love books. So that's what I want. Anyways, that's mine.
That's I mean, you said earlier you were like in between 8 books. How do I
am. Well, because there's this thing for readers. Well, no, there's this thing called a reading slump, where when you read like a really good book, it's really hard to find. Like to want to read another book because you're still stuck in the story, or it was just like a really good book and you're like, I'm never gonna find anything I like ever again. So right now I'm just like, it's so hard to start a book because I'm like, I just want it to be good, and books are really slow at the beginning, so it's just been really hard to get into a book.
I can understand.
Yeah, so I've started like 8.
I'm not a reader, but I can understand.
Yeah, so it's just but that's what, or just to know every song.
What do you mean?
Just to be like
lyrics?
Yeah. Like if someone was like, can you sing this? And you would just like know it.
Or I would do the same thing with like playing an instrument.
Yes.
That would be.
You could just to play any instrument ever.
If there's any violin teachers, I really want to learn violin.
My mom played the violin.
What?
She won't teach you though, because she doesn't think that she was very good, and she played for like.
She's probably
she
really
played
good.
for like a month and then she quit. I used to play the flute. Fun fact.
You play the flute
in middle school from 5th grade to. What is it? 8th grade. I played the flute.
For 3 years, you played the flute?
For 4 years. 5th grade,
so
6th grade,
cool.
7th grade, 8th grade. I was first chair in my band, and I was in the jazz band. They don't usually let flutes in jazz band, but my teacher was like, "You're gonna be in my jazz band." And I had solos and stuff. Flute. I was really good.
Nice. Yeah, I think in middle school.
It's no big deal, but it is. And I played the piccolo. I was in marching band too in middle school.
That's so cool. I loved marching band.
I loved marching band.
I was marching band in high school.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a band kid in high school.
Wow.
But I was a choir kid, and they're equally as bad.
They're worse.
I was a drama kid at one point, and no offense to drama kids, but in public school, drama kids are just mean. So that's why I quit, because they all bullied me. True. But you know that story, so
yeah,
we won't bore the viewers with my high school drama.
We can go through that one.
Yeah, we'll go through that with my testimony.
Drama. Bad. No, if you like drama, you should do drama. I think it's.
You should. Christina loves drama.
My
little sister, she's really good at it.
She is really good.
And she's in a what's it called? Like a theater club, where they're Christian and they're like, they're not mean to Journey Theater.
Journey Theater, yep.
Go check out Christina's plays, musicals.
Yeah, she's really good.
She's really good.
The Music Man, which is the one she just did.
Yeah,
that one was really good.
She also was like the lead in the news. She was so good.
She was a Newsies.
She did Newsies at her middle school in 8th grade, and she was the lead, and she was really good.
I can't believe I missed that. I was so sad.
She's really good.
She told me they have a recording of it.
They do.
So
she's really good.
Oh no, she said she was gonna buy one. I don't know. I have to ask her.
I don't know. Anyways.
Anyway, yeah. Thank you for being here for our first episode. Yay!
We hope you liked it.
Yeah.
I hope we didn't just like ramble the whole time.
No.
I hope it wasn't boring.
Hey, we were human beings.
True.
Right?
We were just being real. This is how most of our conversations go.
Actually, this is literally what like 99% of our conversations are.
Yeah.
But comment. So you know how we just did a fun question at the end?
Superpower.
What? Superpower question. If you guys want us to answer any fun questions or any questions,
comment.
Really.
If you're watching on YouTube, please.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I think you can comment. You can't comment on Spotify, but if you're watching on YouTube.
Or text us.
Yeah, or
talk to us.
Yeah.
Tell us questions you want us to answer.
And we will
ask us questions if you have any.
Yeah. And we will answer
those.
And yeah, so thank you for being here, and we'll see you on the next one. Yay!
Okay, bye.